What's going on, guys? My name is Aldeniro and welcome to episode 16, I think we're now at, of my Leicester City career mode. I've got a question for you guys early on in this episode, and it's quite simply, I can't believe I haven't asked this already, but who is your favourite footballer in the world? Mine is a mix between, well, mine is Robbie Keane. I think he is my all-time favourite footballer, just because I grew up as an Irish person and saw him scoring goals in important tournaments and things of that nature, and he's just awesome. But I also really like Charlie Mulgrew and Aidan McGeady and players like that. But yeah, who is your favourite player? We start the action off against Swansea in the league here, and as you can see in the second minute we get a decent enough chance from Berahino, whose shot gets deflected by the goalkeeper, and Schlupp heads it on to Sinclair, but unfortunately the Englishman couldn't keep his volley down, and the game remains 0-0. But on the half-hour mark we would get another chance with Dave Nugent going forward. I went with the two strikers in this game because I thought I'd just have a better chance of creating something up front, and look at that terrible effort from Sinclair as he goes for the chip. I don't know why I thought it would work, but Nugent should have buried the first chance anyway and made it 1-0, but unfortunately he didn't. And then in the 45th minute, Wilfried Bony missed a chance as he put it wide for Swansea City. But we were definitely the better team in this game, and in the 51st minute you see Sinclair bombing forward with his pace, getting in to try and score, but again it was saved by the goalkeeper. All of my shots seeming to go straight at him. But check this out for amazing ability from Jack Grealish. He's rated 66 right now, but with the ball stuck at his feet he'll never lose it. The little step overs and the amazing dribbling ability, I think he's going to be an absolutely awesome player. But he helped create that volley for Dave Nugent, which should have hit the back of the net, but the English striker was just unable to do it, and he really should have. Look at that, that's such a shame. It goes just inches wide of the post. But in the 76th minute Swansea came forward, finally, all they were doing beforehand was just passing it around, but they finally did manufacture a chance for themselves with Montero's cross going out for a corner, which would be swung outwards by Inan, and the corner comes in, it goes up towards Carroll, but it's punched away by Kasper Schmeichel, and it's Ujoa who retrieves it in defence and then manages to hold on to it. He plays it to Bakayoko, who finds Jeffrey Schlupp on the run, who goes up against Bennett and manages to get past him and in between the two Swansea defenders with his pace before finishing into the bottom corner of the net to give us our first goal in a long time, it seems like, because we had so many 0-0 draws in the last episode and things like that. But finally we take the lead in a game with just 10 minutes to go, and from here I didn't even feel the need to park the bus because Swansea just didn't really do anything in the game, and we get a nice 1-0 victory at home, and that's really crucial in our bid to secure a mid-table finish. Now here's a look at our youth team. These are the players that I signed from the scouting mission to Ireland, and I just wanted to say or ask you guys, really, what do I do here? Do I keep these here and then sign them on May 1st? I think that's what people say to do. But we got some horrible news after that. As you can see, we got a training injury to Scott Sinclair, and he's gonna miss 2 months. So he's not, he's missing the whole rest of the season. That's it, he's done for the season. He only really got to play a few games for us, and it's a real shame because he's been really good in the team. The introduction of so much pace in our attack line has been a really important thing for us. But our next game is against Newcastle United, and we have to do it without Scott Sinclair. This was actually on the Saturday after the Swansea game, which was on a Wednesday, and Newcastle's team is pretty good, but thankfully they do have Remy Cabella left on the bench, and they got a free kick in the 9th minute which led to a Tiote header that got punched over by Kasper Schmeichel, and then in the 25th minute they had another chance going forward with Tiote involved yet again, getting round the defence using his raw power. He plays it into Gouffran, whose shot is saved by Kasper Schmeichel. This was an incredibly difficult game to play. I'm sure it's evident how much pressure Newcastle were putting me under at all points in this game. They're such a weird team, Newcastle, because they don't really seem to do very well in real life because they're managed by a glorified clown. But in this game they really do have their act together, and they did find the back of the net in the 55th minute through Johan Gouffran, but thankfully my buddy with the flag holds it out for offside. I think eventually that guy is just going to have a flag that has the Leicester crest on it because he has saved me so many times this season. But they came forward again in the 76th minute and their shot led to a save, and really our only chance of the game, well, I guess our best chance of the game, but the only one worth really showing, came in the 95th minute as the ball comes to Jack Grealish on the edge of the area, who is such a great player. I cannot wait till he's fully developed because he's 66 rated now and he has such a big impact on every game. But Dwight Gale tried to get a chance in, and he was basically just working his way through the defence before the ball found its way to Jack Grealish, who did launch his shot straight at the goalkeeper. But this game ends in a 0-0 draw, and it was literally the most boring game I think I've probably played in career mode so far, which is a shame. And not because there was no highlights or chances or anything, but because all I had to do was put my back to the wall and hope that Newcastle didn't score. And I don't really like being in that kind of position. I just didn't get the opportunity to produce a decent counter-attack. But our next game is against Southampton, and this was on the Monday after the Saturday, so 2 days after the Newcastle game, which is just ridiculous in all honesty. But we got a chance here in the 25th minute early on, pretty much, with Jeffrey Schlupp and Cambiasso combining. The ball comes into Berahino on the edge of the area, and he does well to hold on to it there, because those interceptions are really, really key when you're playing on Legendary. Like, they're so good at them, the AI are. And Southampton came forward 5 minutes later and almost managed a chance with, I think that was Shane Long on the ball. Then we would get a chance just 10 minutes later with the ball coming to Berahino. He has support ahead of him, but he goes for the shot, and Fraser Forster, I don't know what he was trying to do there. Like, Fraser Forster is an amazing goalkeeper in real life, right? No bias. He genuinely is a class goalkeeper. But look at the state of this. What even is that? I don't have a clue what that's supposed to be. But we come into just into stoppage time at the end of the first half, and Davis plays the ball into Schneiderlin, who smashes it off the post. And that was a real scare for us in defence. You know, I figured I had to get my act together around that point. But there was another chance for Southampton in the game as the ball comes to Tadic in the 54th minute. His shot producing a save from Schmeichel. And then in the 65th minute, it was our turn to come, or sorry, it wasn't. It was actually another attack from Southampton as the ball is with Jay Rodriguez, who is a player I might actually look into signing. But his cross found Schmeichel. Schmeichel launches us into some sort of counter-attack, and it's Berahino playing the ball into Jeffrey Schlupp. And this is where pace is key in this game, because Schlupp gets in ahead of Bertrand and manages to find the back of the net from distance to get his second goal in 3 games. And it was really just pace that made that goal. Schlupp is not an incredible player. I don't even know what his rating is. It's somewhere in the 60s, like he's a bronze player. But amazingly, he just managed to get in just because of his pace and his strength there. And that's something that I want to get more of in the team, I think, because that's what wins you games in this. But our greatest moment in the game, in my opinion, came here in the 70th minute as Matty James plays the ball into Berahino, who looks up and sees the run from Nick Powell, who comes in to finish expertly into the bottom corner. And what made that goal great for me wasn't the fact that it was the first time in so long that I scored a second goal in a game on Legendary. It was the move itself. It's basic passing and everything, and it's everything that EA Sports have said that's great about FIFA 15, and I thoroughly agree when it works. But there are only some players who make good runs like Powell does, and I noticed as he did that, like, this is the second time this season that Powell has made a decent run like that, and he did the first two goals that he scored for us were against Liverpool as a result of really good runs through defences. And that's really what you want in the game, is players who are actually capable of producing that, like that level of intelligence, I suppose, within the game, because most players are idiots on the game, like whatever it is. There's a guy on this team called Hammond, and he literally, every time the ball comes to him, his first touch is so bad that it gives away possession. But for some reason, there's some stat that makes Nick Powell run through defences like that, and I think I'm going to try and get him on a permanent deal afterwards. But in the 79th minute, Southampton came forward with Mayuka playing the ball into Jay Rodriguez. He passes it into Tadic in the middle, who was open, and he makes it 2-1. And it was a little bit like, I don't know, we were sort of nervous after this because I didn't want to concede another goal having gone 2-0 up, because that in itself was an achievement, right? Like, Southampton aren't in a good league position, as you'll see later on in the episode, but thankfully we did manage to hold on. I made some defensive minded substitutions afterwards as well, and we ended the game not really being the better of the two sides, as you can see. Like, Southampton had way more chances, but our pass accuracy was okay, our possession was standard, and our goals were more than we've scored in a few games. But here's a look at the league table before we end the episode. As you can see, we're not really comfortable, but we're in 14th place, which is where I need to finish, because I promised the board a mid-table finish, and I'm actually terrified that I'll get sacked, because this is like a real project for me. Like, I really want this to take off, this whole Leicester thing. Like, I want to make them a great team. But there we are in 14th place anyway. I reckon we can finish there and just build on the team for the entirety of the pre-season. But that is it's a tough looking league, right? But our next game is against Sunderland, and I think if we were to draw there and hope that Hull City draw their next 2 games, our last game of the season is against QPR, which is another potentially winnable fixture, I think. But it's interesting. Southampton look like they're probably going to go down now, and Burnley are going to go down, and Nathan Chalobah is not actually a Chelsea player in this game. I think it's because their squad is too big, because they have too many loan players. So what they did was they just decided that Chalobah is a Burnley official player. So I'm going to try and sign Chalobah when the season is out, but there's also a few players on Southampton I'd like to sign, like Jack Cork, maybe Harrison Reed, someone like that. Also on my transfer list is Nick Powell, just because I think he can develop into a really good player. player. And I'd love to get Gary Gardner off of Aston Villa as well, just because I'd like a player who's able to play the ball, pass the ball around properly. But I don't know why I started talking about my transfer targets at the end of that episode, but hopefully you guys agree with the signings that I'm looking to bring in anyways. But also Trippier from Burnley would be a decent player to sign. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like. That would be much appreciated. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.